Yeah, the Texans defense needs to be recharged, revamped, more aggressive, pretty much everything that they weren't against the Bears. It seems like there were two big storylines going into today's game. The first one was, how was this awful weather in Cleveland going to affect the game? The second one being, of course, the Texans' run defense just being so bad week after week. First of all, Deshaun, you're a football player, you're an activist, you're now an author. Why did you decide to add restaurants?
Because I love food, first off.
Okay, so it's a good hire. I don't think anyone's denying that he's definitely qualified. The fact that it's another hire, like you said, from that Patriots tree, and Caserio is good friends with none other than Jack Easterby. That's raising some eyebrows. There are few things in sports as iconic as the Detroit Lions Thanksgiving Day game. And this year, the Houston Texans couldn't be more excited to be part of such a long-standing tradition.
That game's always been a special game for me.
The Houston Texans are playing for pride. They're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but it couldn't be more different for the Indianapolis Colts. They're still in the running of a very congested AFC playoff picture. But if the Texans are just playing for pride, is it worth it for Deshaun Watson to still play? Deshaun Watson sacked 6 times last week in Chicago, so why not sit out to protect his body? It's a question being asked a lot over the last week, but Watson and Romeo Crennel both insisting that playing for pride is worth it.
Just because of the passion, the love of the game.
And Deshaun Watson has been sacked 39 times. That's third most in the NFL this season. So at this point, keeping him healthy and not banged up would be a win in itself. And this Texans game in Cleveland is very much a winnable game for Houston, but their defense is going to have to be on it. This Browns team can run the ball. And oh, by the way, superstar running back Nick Chubb is back in the mix for the first time since week 4. And fans are wondering, how do you replace him? How do you replace arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL? And it seems like common sense, Randy. You want your franchise quarterback to be happy and feel like he has a voice. For whatever reason, the Texans aren't considering Deshaun Watson's preferences when hiring personnel.
But our Vanessa Richardson has already confirmed a big matchup that Texans fans are going to love. And Vanessa, what are your sources telling you tonight?
You know, Chris and Lauren, it's funny. I texted my source asking about the rumor that the Texans were opening with the Kansas City Chiefs. And this person said the bigger story is the Texans have the Thanksgiving game in Detroit. Another source confirmed, and if you watch the NFL, you know the Thanksgiving game is absolutely huge. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a rookie, and there were no preseason games. So Weaver said they were basically studying his film from LSU. They had no idea what to expect from him. They didn't put enough pressure on Mahomes in the pocket, and with the Ravens, Steelers, Vikings coming up, the Texans defense definitely is going to need to improve. Can you list Jack Easterby's specific skills that make him so attractive to you as far as keeping him around, as far as he's worth this drama, he's worth the perception? What specifically does he bring to the table? Thank you.
Well, Jack's very gifted in a lot of different areas.
Yeah, I mean, you heard the announcers being able to call what Deshaun Watson was going to do, and if the announcers up in the booth can call it, you have to imagine that a defense is going to be able to read it pretty easily. So a lot of improvements need to be made, and Randy, when you look at the next couple of games, I remember at the beginning of the season being kind of excited that they played the Colts twice within a couple of weeks, because I thought, okay, that's 2 wins that the Texans can definitely get, right? After seeing the way that the Colts played last week against Tennessee, I don't know that the Texans win either one. I actually got to talk to Bradley Roby in the locker room after, who said this game was special for so many reasons.
My granddad passed away, and I went to the funeral yesterday, and, I was very emotional.
When did you feel your granddad with you the most during the game? Was there any specific play where you're like, yeah, that was my grandpa?
Man, first pick, man. He made Tom throw it, and I was already there.
Well, leave it to the New England Patriots. The same day they get hit with a punishment for taping the Bengals sidelines, they signed Cam Newton, former MVP, a move that's low risk, potentially high reward, a 1-year deal and the league minimum. Bill Belichick, right? And the AFC South, unpredictable as always today, guys. The NFC East, predictably a dumpster fire. But Randy, at least we saw some good college games yesterday.